Today's guest, Christian Pombo of Creative Real Estate Deals, has sold over 50 off-market real estate deals in the past year alone, moving more than $20 million in volume. He's worked with over 100 investors and specializes in creative finance, and runs a popular paid WhatsApp group where hundreds of investors and pros connect and get access to deals first. In this episode, we're breaking down how he does it. All right, what's up, Chris? What's going on, man? It's been a few years since we saw each other in person, bro. How long has it been?
It's been a while. It hasn't been too long. It's been a couple years.
Holy smokes. Well, to give people some background, we went to high school together.
Yes.
And that was a good time. And a lot has changed. I'm in marketing now. You're working in real estate. How has that been? Did you know you wanted to do real estate back then, or what was on your mind back then?
No, actually, I thought I wanted to be a doctor. And so.
Well, isn't your dad a doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I thought I had to be him. And so you get asked a lot when you're younger, oh, are you going to be like your dad? Are you going to be like your dad, like a doctor?
Yeah.
And so I thought I believed that. And so I started out pre-med going into college, but then the grades weren't hitting like they're supposed to hit. They're supposed to. So
like a bio class in chemistry probably kicked your ass, huh?
Yeah. I didn't even make it to bio 2. And
so
Neither
did I.
And so no, I switched majors and went to business. And then from there, I just started a slew of sales jobs before I went into real estate. But I didn't get into real estate until probably like 5 or 6 years back when I was like 25.
No shit.
Yeah.
Did anybody in your family do real estate that kind of like leaned you in that direction, or was it more something outside of that?
Yeah, so my mom has been in the title business her whole life.
That's
right.
So
she's been doing title work for more than 35 years.
Okay.
And so when I was little, I would go into her office. She had her own title company. And so she's been doing real estate for a long time. So it was always there in the background. And then my little brother, he's 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
He started out and got his license before I even jumped into real estate. I thought, to be honest, real estate was a little played out because I saw everybody being a realtor and everybody doing it in my early 20s.
Right.
And then I finally came around.
Yeah, well, you came around with a creative spin, which most people haven't heard about. That's one of the main reasons I wanted us to talk, mainly because we know each other. Number 2, because I've seen you doing really well on it and it makes me happy. Love the content you've been putting out. But there's different ways of being able to acquire real estate, not the traditional way.
Definitely.
And I'm guessing that's what kind of like drew your attention.
Definitely. So when I was going down the rabbit hole of learning about wholesale, because that's specifically what I do, I focus on wholesale real estate. So it's more distressed real estate, people that are going through situations, might lose their house, the fixer-uppers.
Right.
And so that's how I got into that business. And I got into the business to want to acquire rentals, but had bad credit, didn't have the money. So I looked at alternative routes to acquire real estate or work out deals. And then that's when I stumbled upon creative finance and learning new different types of ways to acquire real estate without little to no money down, no credit, and stuff like that. So that's how I eventually got into it.
You know, the funny part is I've been studying and looking into real estate for years, not as a, let's say, like a fully blown active real estate investor, but kind of like getting my feet wet, reading all the books, watching all the YouTube channels, like learning everything I can about how to acquire, specifically because I had a very similar issue, credit issues, money issues. Yep. And there's ways to be able to acquire properties differently. And most people, I'd say, who are not in real estate are not aware of that. So they may be like, oh, it's not a bank, I don't trust it. Oh, it's not a bank, it's a scam. Or I can't do it this way, can't do it that way. When in reality, it's really not. There are sometimes people that are in situations that things are going to go downhill either way, and you might be able to help them, and they might be able to help you in that situation. And that's where a lot of these deals are capitalized on, right?
Definitely. I would say my business is capitalized on solving problems, really. So whenever a traditional real estate transaction doesn't work out for a certain seller, then that's when we turn to an alternative solution where we can structure the deal a little bit differently to make it work for the seller and make it work for us in the long run.
Okay, so let's say I'm a new real estate investor. Maybe I got 10, 20, 30K in the bank to make some type of move, some type of deal. I know the bank's not going to approve me. My credit is shit. My tax returns aren't where they need to be. You think creative. Let's really break down what creative means. Let's unpack that.
Okay, cool. So creative finance essentially is an over-encompassing umbrella of different strategies to acquire real estate. So anything that's non-traditional is basically creative finance. So taking over somebody's debt, right? Assuming their mortgage, that's
Sub 2.
So that's acquiring the property subject to the existing debt. That is, one way for creative finance. There's properties that are free and clear. The seller has paid off their mortgage or whatnot. They have it free and clear. And you can turn around and make payments to them as if they were the bank, that seller finance in that situation. And so those are the different routes that you can do to acquire property without having to go take out a loan, pull your credit. And it's not that all the time we have bad credit. It's you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. We might not have those tax returns, a W-2 to show to an underwriter to get approved for a loan. Yeah. So these alternative routes, like for example, we just closed on a property, not me, a client of mine, yesterday. It was a subject to deal. It was in Homestead, and my investor, he brought $25,000 at the closing table, and now he acquired a townhouse in Homestead, like a 4-bedroom. He's gonna rent it out and he's gonna keep it in portfolio, but he's all into that property. $25,000. The property's turnkey, and he didn't have to pull the credit. He didn't have to show financial statements. All he had to do was send a deposit, and I've done business with him before, so I know he has the money. Yeah. And $25,000 is not a lot of money speaking when you're acquiring a property.
Freaking townhouse, yeah.
Yeah, and this property's worth $400,000, so you got to figure this is less than 10% down that essentially you're putting down on a property. And
he did sub 2, or he did seller finance?
He did sub 2. So he took over a loan with a 2.5 interest rate.
Oh my God.
For $350,000, yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And
he got the guy out of some trouble, right? Because that guy could have gone into foreclosure and destroyed his credit, and that's usually what ends up happening, right?
Yeah, that's usually what ends up happening. Usually, this gentleman was behind on his payments a couple months. Yeah. So at the closing, we caught those payments up with the $25,000 he bought in. Seller got a little bit, I got a little bit, and he walks away happy. And now he has a rental in his portfolio that he didn't have to qualify. He didn't have to personally guarantee any debt. And so, he acquired that property very simple. We were in escrow for like less than 3 weeks.
So there's a seller. The seller's in a distressed situation. They might lose the house. In losing the house, they're going to lose money. Their credit is going to go to shit. They're going to lose opportunities. Their kids are probably not going to be able to go to the school they go to. So they're going to have to move neighborhoods. Everything that comes with ruining your credit, right? Correct. Mm-hmm. You come in and you have a buyer that wants to take over that loan. Luckily enough for your buyer, you found somebody that has a 2.5% interest rate, which is unheard of these days. Correct. So already it's a win for him, a win for the other guy, and you put a little bit of money in your pocket. It sounds like a solid, ethical way of making some money, right?
Solid. And look at it like this. Now, this guy had bad credit, right? He was behind on his payments. That comes on his credit report. Yeah. What do you think happens when the buyer comes in with the money to catch up his mortgage at the closing and now starts to continue to make payments on his mortgage on time? What do you think happens to the seller's credit?
Yeah, of course.
It improves.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So there's a ripple effect with doing transactions like this, and it helped him out, and my buyer got a good deal.
What happens if the buyer stops paying? Then it's still under the original person's name, and they continue whatever process they had?
Correct. So it would go through a normal foreclosure, like if the borrower, the seller, if he had continued to stop making payments, then it would go into foreclosure. And so it would be the same exact thing. The mortgage, we don't touch the mortgage. What happens is there's a title transfer. So the title transfers to the new buyer, but the debt stays in place. But
Gotcha.
If he stops making the payments, then technically the seller's name is the one that's guaranteeing the loan. So he's on the hook.
So let's say out of 10 people that you pitch this to, however you get to them, I'm sure you have your ways of creating these leads, driving for dollars, calling, whatever the hell, running ads, your WhatsApp group. What are the most common objections out of 10 people that you talk to? What is the most common objection you get out of, 3, 4, 5 of them when they hear this?
That's one of the objections. Like, what if you stop making payments on my mortgage?
Okay.
Well, seller, if I give you $25,000, right, just like in that last scenario, to the closing table, you think it makes sense for us to just stop making payments and lose the house once we've forked over $25K? Yeah. So that one's easily to overcome. There is sometimes they bring up, the loan is due when I sell the property, right? Meaning that it has to get paid out and satisfied at the time of closing, right? That's traditionally speaking. Yeah. If you go get a loan on a new property and you buy a house from a seller that has a mortgage, with that new mortgage, it wipes out the old one. Right. But in this scenario, that's not the case. All right. So one of the objections we'll get is, hey, there's a due on sale clause in my mortgage that if I sell the property and transfer the title, it's due on that sale. Yeah. I can't do a sub 2. But most oftentimes these mortgage companies are not looking at, what's going on with the deal. And so it's very rare that the loan gets called due at the time of sale. And at the end of the day, the mortgage company makes money on their interest that they collect every month.
Right.
So they're not looking to foreclose. The last thing they actually want to do is call a note due
Yeah.
and foreclose on the property, because it doesn't make any money for them.
Right.
They have to pay attorneys to do the foreclosure for them. So it doesn't make sense. So those are probably the two biggest ones that are pretty easy to overcome. And you asked me out of 10 times who would say yes, probably 2 to 3, because there's very little to no equity and they have no other options. Everybody else that offers them cash, their offer isn't even enough to cover the loan that they have.
Yeah, so they'll still have credit problems and every other
Correct.
shit that we just mentioned.
Yeah, they just keeps trying to sell it until somebody like me rolls around and say, hey, you have a good interest rate on your loan. I could pay a little more. You know, let me put some money in your pocket and I'll just take over the mortgage from there.
I've seen a bunch of videos on YouTube and Instagram of dudes like cold calling people trying to do creative. And there's even some realtors that have no fucking clue this thing exists, bro. Like I've seen some wild shit. Even like I'll go as far as saying realtors I've worked with where I've pitched them like, let's do a creative deal. Oh, I've never done that. It's like, whoa.
Well, think about
Like
it.
how new is this shit? Or is like this has been around forever?
Well, think about it. I mean, to become a realtor, what do you have to do? You have to take a 1-week course and pass a test, and voila, you're a realtor.
Oh, magic.
If you're a doctor, you got to do 8 years minimum.
Yeah.
Right. So as
And
a
residency.
right, as a realtor, you come into the game licensed with 1 week of a crash course. Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's like, you know, would you hire a dentist for doing a week of school?
Yeah.
So they're uneducated coming in, and then when they get most of their education going into a brokerage that they sign up for right after they get their license.
Yeah.
But every brokerage is not the same, and a brokerage is compensated to sell listings and get commissions.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no incentive really to do
To off-market deals, yeah.
No, there isn't. And so it's just a lack of education, and it's not something you can blame realtors. It's just that's how the game is.
It's how the game works.
It's just how the game works.
Well, thank God we have like social media and like groups like yours, like Creative Real Estate Deals, your WhatsApp group, and even podcasts like this where we could talk about it. Now, for people who are not too familiar with some of the terms that we're using, can you please describe off-market versus like in-market or however it is that we would
Sure.
call it?
So every house that you see on Zillow that is for sale, it is on the market.
on the market.
It is listed by a licensed real estate agent, and they're putting it on the multiple listing service. That is essentially the market.
MLS,
Right.
yeah.
And so the MLS is a marketplace where agents put listings on the property to sell the property. So essentially a property that is off market is a property that is for sale that is not actively solicited on the MLS.
Okay.
So how does that happen? There's a bunch of realtors that go to sellers, go to their house, do a listing appointment to get a listing. But there's another world where there's a bunch of schmucks like me that are going into the same living room to have an appointment, but to put the property under a purchase agreement contract
Before it goes live.
before it even is listed.
Yeah.
Right. And so with that, we go into under contract with the property. And what we do is we mark up whatever the price is. So let's say I go to your house and we agree on $300,000. I'll go to the next guy, or I'll put it in my WhatsApp group, or send it out on my email list to my investors at $310, $315, $320.
Yeah.
And I collect that difference in between.
Yeah, and it's very straightforward. Everybody knows you're making that, and I mean, you're doing a big deed for that, for that little amount of money.
No, for sure. And so with that being said, since they're not actively solicited on the MLS, and that's why investors come to me, because they know I have the deal flow. They know I have the properties for sale. So the way you find these properties is through wholesalers, like guys like me that are actively going to get those contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about seller finance. Right. That's when you go to the seller. You probably people have seen a bunch of the videos on YouTube. Likely find an old person that trying to get rid of their shit. Maybe they're trying to move somewhere else. Pay them a little bit of money to help them move. Hold on to the property. Make payments on it. There's different scenarios in how that could happen. Let's talk about the difference between sub 2 and then straight doing the contract with the seller, and then them financing it for you and maybe having a balloon at the end.
Okay, gotcha. So with a sub 2 and a seller finance, I'll start with the avatars. So the person that you're dealing with, that you're going to do a sub 2 and a seller finance, are two totally different people, right? A sub 2 deal is a deal that has existing financing already in place, meaning it has a mortgage of some type, and it probably has no equity, meaning that the balance on the loan is more or less what the property is worth.
Gotcha.
So if the seller sells it, it's very unlikely that they're set to receive any money.
Right.
As opposed to a seller finance deal, the avatar of that person is more of, like how you said, an older person. They've already paid off their mortgage. They've owned it for a long time, a landlord. And so somebody that has a free and clear property, meaning they have no mortgage on it. They paid it off. All they're paying is taxes, insurance, if that. And so with them, they're motivated a little differently.
Okay. So
they're not with their backs up against the wall facing foreclosure or an auction date like that. What they're looking for is their price, right?
Yeah.
So if they're not going to accept a cash offer, right, because they have equity, right? So if they have a $500,000 house and I come around offering $400,000 cash, it's not that appealing to them because one, they don't have any payments that that they have to catch up with, so they're not hurt. So their motivation is a little bit different. So the way I get those people to do deals like that is I say, hey, I'll give you what the property's worth, but I can't do it all cash. Right? Are you willing to finance, or are you willing to take payments towards that $500,000 purchase price that you want?
And you try to make sure that it's like less than what you would rent it for, and you make the spread.
Correct. That's essentially what the strategy is. But a lot of people buy homes on seller finance for their personal as well. Yeah. So it's not only as an investor, but for us as investors, yes, I go in to try to get a monthly payment to the seller with as low as interest rate as possible, or even none, right? And then go ahead and turn and rent it out.
There's people out here really like doing seller finance with zero interest.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So every monthly payment, I haven't done too much of them, but when they do, it's a gold mine. But
that's insane that they would accept that.
Yeah, but sometimes they might accept a higher price, right? So if everybody's offering $450, you want $500. But I come around and say, hey, I'll give you $500 or even $505, $510, slightly more, but I need my payment to be $500 or $1,000 to you. But principal only. It doesn't go towards interest, right? Yeah. Every time I make a monthly payment, it's knocking down more of that principal balance.
Right. And then I'm guessing later on, because they're not going to finance that shit forever for you. Later on, once you've built up equity, you just refinance?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
You can. But if you secure a low enough interest rate, why would you want to refinance?
Right.
Unless you're going to trade up into a bigger deal and you need to pull some equity out. And then
unless they don't want to finance too long, I guess. Like they tell you, look, I'll do a 5-6 year max. What's the average amount of like when you do a creative finance deal, what is the average amount of time? Is it 5 years, 7 years, 3 years, or does it vary?
So I try to get the longest financing I can possible.
Okay.
So I go into any offer, try to getting the longest financing possible, right? And so that's the biggest thing for me because I want to secure long-term financing.
Yeah.
So my back is not up against the wall. I'm not forced to refi. I'm not forced to sell, and I can just ride it out and hopefully cash flow along the way.
Now, more of a personal question. How hard is it for you not to buy every fucking deal that comes across your desk, bro? Like, because I'm guessing, like, I mean, you have your buyers, but also, like, you're also looking out like an investor yourself, right?
Yeah, correct. No, and so
you take dibs on the dopest shit and then let everybody else have the rest.
What I tell people is I sell good deals, but I buy great deals. And so that's what I do.
Yeah, you're not gonna play yourself, obviously.
I'm not gonna play myself. And so part of the reason why I like my business is because I kind of have a pulse on all the off-market deals that are being circulated in South Florida.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of okay deals and good deals, but that doesn't mean I have the bandwidth or the capacity to buy all of them. I'm just going to cherry pick the best ones I see in the markets that I want.
Okay.
So what I tell most new investors, like, solidify what you're looking for. Like, what are your goals, right? I think I've spoken to you about this. Like, hey, like, where do you want to be as far as building your portfolio?
Right.
Right. I think you mentioned you like Hollywood.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
For me, I like Hialeah. Right. And so when I see deals that fit a certain criteria that I like, then that's when I do like deep research, because I get a bunch of deals sent to me on a daily basis. Right?
Yeah, you go crazy. Like, yeah.
I go crazy. So I sell the ones in different markets that I don't buy in or I don't look into. And then when something comes around in my market under my buy box, under my criteria that I like, then that's when I go and do a little more due diligence on that.
Yeah, you guys always send shit in the chat that's in my area, and you fuck with my head all week. I'm like, damn, that looks good. All right.
I'm showing one in Hollywood today.
Yeah, with a multifamily?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them over there.
A 10 unit.
Yeah, and there's great lots over there, like commercial, residential lots. There's a lot of growth in the area. And there's a lot of like luxury towers going up as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of gentrification going on in Hollywood.
Yeah, man. Shit's getting crazy over there. So, Hialeah, where was your first purchase?
In Hialeah.
It was Hialeah? Would you do a single family?
It was a single family, and it has 2 efficiencies. So it was a large house, a 3-bedroom house, and it has 2 separate
efficiencies in the back.
Efficiencies.
Oh, shit.
1 on the side and 1 on the back.
So 3 rents, essentially.
Exactly. So essentially, that one's 3 doors. So, yeah. But it's a single family house, and that was a property that I acquired using creative finance. It was a situation.
Your first one? Yeah.
Yeah, no, first one. It was a situation where the seller had a mortgage, a reverse mortgage, right? And so it was an older gentleman, reverse mortgage, was having dementia. I was dealing with his daughter. Somebody actually brought it to me to try to sell it, and I had investors that were interested in looking at it. Mm-hmm. And everybody was telling me, we got to see it, we got to see it, we got to see it, because we can't just buy it sight unseen. Sometimes we can, but this one it looked like, there was barely any pictures. We didn't know what we were dealing with, really.
Yeah.
And so I took the chance and I proposed to the seller, and I was like, hey, look, you can't show it. You don't want to see it. I know you want to accommodate for your father. So here's what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to give you some money up front. You do the accommodations to your home, right, to accommodate for your father. And I'll give you some time to get your father out, and then I'll give you a little bit more money when you leave. And in total, it was like $10,000. So
kind of like what I was mentioning before. Somebody
Correct.
needs to relocate, and you facilitate that situation.
Correct. Yeah. What I tell wholesalers and other investors is that usually the seller situation always dictates the terms. So it's very rare that we're buying and looking for homes that are beat up. Mm-hmm. We're looking for people with problems and situations that we can offer a solution to.
Yeah.
Right. And so when we're investing, we're not looking at a property like, oh, I like this, I like how the kitchen is. I like how
you have to like the situation versus the structure is what you're saying.
Correct. It's all about the numbers, right? So in this situation, I noticed that it was a big house. We can rent it out. And so I was willing to take the chance on buying it sight unseen. It was frankly a little bit of money up front, but I was willing to take the risk because I knew the upside. I knew the market. I live right down the street.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, this is a deal. I can rent this out for like $5,000.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did, and now I have it fully rented out.
Amazing. How long has that been?
I bought that back in May.
Okay.
They left in June. I made some updates. I did the kitchen, painted.
Nice. So you're just in the thick of it right now.
In the thick of it right now. Well, yeah. Right now it's just coasting, rented out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things I've learned in real estate, because when you read the books and you watch the videos and everything, it's one thing. Mm-hmm. But once you're actually in it and you see like all the shit that you have to be on top of, it goes back to the buy box. And people just want shit in their area, so they could just, if they have somebody doing maintenance, or they themselves have to be in and out helping do things. You don't want maybe like a house in Coral Gables, one in Fort Lauderdale, one in Weston, one in like Coral Springs. So then you're going to be bouncing around.
Correct.
Is that what you see most investors like try? That's why they usually have a buy box. Is it because of logistics, or is it more so just because of they're in love with an area?
It's usually logistics, and location is probably the biggest thing when it comes to real estate.
Yeah.
All right. So location is a big thing. Fortunately for us, we're in South Florida. It's a thriving market, so you can throw a rock. You can throw a rock anywhere, and you'll find a good location. So what I see with most investors, if they're skilled, I have investors that'll take on 10 projects at a time, from all the way from Homestead all the way to West Palm Beach.
Right.
And like I said, it's logistics, right? I don't have the bandwidth to do projects 10 at a time scattered out, but I do have some clients that have the logistics, have the team, have the resources to manage 10 properties at a time in different area codes. So it really boils down to the numbers, location, and their bandwidth, really.
Would you say if in your line of work for wholesalers, it's a buyer's market right now?
I would say
seller's market.
I would say it's a buyer's market. The tricky thing is that we're in South Florida, and the demand is very high.
Yeah.
Right. And you see the stuff going on with New York. We got buyers coming in.
Yeah.
So even though there's a lot of inventory, right? And normally when there's a lot of inventory, supply and demand, right? When there's a lot of supply, the demand is low. But we're such in a vibrant city and a great marketplace for real estate that you have a lot of inventory, but you have a lot of buyers too. So there's still competition. So it's tough to say we're in a buyer's market, but we're slowly getting into a buyer's market, so you can still make the offer and not get hung up on, basically.
Exactly. Like a few years ago where it was freaking impossible, man.
2021, 2022.
It was rough. I put out so many offers during that time that I got crushed by New Yorkers.
Yeah, no.
So how's the New York situation now? I'm not deep in, so I don't know, like in the past few weeks, have you seen a surge, or it's kind of like still what it was? Because everybody was talking about how everybody's going to move in the last few weeks since the election. Like, what's going on with that?
Well, I think there's a conversion cycle with real estate, right? And it's usually a longer time frame than most other businesses, right? If you from the moment you talk to a seller and get it under contract, right? Place escrow, title search, and close on
3-4 months, 2 months.
Exactly, right? So we're not going to see the effects of New York right now. There's people coming in, right, making offers and stuff, but we haven't seen that direct hit, I believe, just yet.
Not yet.
But people have been coming from New York for the past few years, right? This just is now kind of tipping things over.
It's too full out here, man. Do you remember when we were teenagers that we would go on Palmetto or 95 and it wasn't as bad as it is now, bro? You used to be able to get from like Broward to downtown Miami in like 20 minutes.
And now they've widened the lanes.
And still the fucking takes forever.
And still, yeah. It's
right?
crazy, yeah.
There's a lot of cool towers and a lot of cool developments. You know, I see most of your deals are actually like houses, right? Is it an HOA thing that causes you to be more towards houses? Is it a better deal to do houses? I don't see as much apartments in the channel. Is there a reason to that?
The thing is with off-market real estate, and the reason why you see more single families and small residential multifamilies is because there's value to be added. What I mean by that is these people are in distress. The property may be banked up and it needs work, right? So that allows you to get, one, a deep discount, right, to free up some equity. And two, you can go ahead and do the work and add value to the property to appreciate it. So the thing with condos and high rises and buildings like that, they've already built it, you know, turnkey. So there's no value to add really to those types of properties. So what investors look for is value add, right? Something where they can buy something at a discount, put some money into it, force the appreciation, and that's how they get their money.
Understood. Okay. Now, jumping back to what I was talking about, the developments, like I had a while back, I had Gil Deser on the podcast. He's working on the Bentley Tower right now. He did Armani. He did Porsche. He did, I think, 3 or 4 of the Trump Towers. We have Pagani Residences, who Mickey Hamawi was also on the podcast. We have Waldorf, which we recently did an event with. All these crazy like real estate projects are coming all around the city, which in turn is obviously raising the price of real estate. How do you see that? Like, what do you think about that?
Well, first off, super humbling for you to invite me on your podcast, knowing that you've interviewed Gil Deser and some of these other guys, where I hope to be at some point one day in my career. But what I see is they're bringing a lot of inventory down here to Miami, right? Because they're erecting these buildings, and it's a lot of units. But it's definitely attracting a higher echelon of clientele person, right? So I'm seeing Miami become a financial kind of hub, and it's growing. So we're seeing a lot of young professionals, and we're seeing a lot of high net worth people coming into town, especially with these projects coming in. Because you're a high net worth individual, and you're coming from outside of Miami. You may not be accustomed to the culture, and you might not want to keep up with a property down here. But a nice turnkey condo, if you can pay it, there's definitely a need for the projects that they're bringing to the market down here for sure.
I almost wish though that it feels like over the last few years, having like been born and raised here in Miami, that the culture has gotten so diluted. So almost like there's less Miami people in Miami. Like every time lately I meet somebody, I'm like, oh, where are you from? Miami. Oh, no, but where are you originally from? It's like, no, I was born here.
That's sometimes a
really?
Good thing. Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's like, it's good, and it's also like, damn, because, you know, there's so much new stuff that you don't know how to take it. Like for me growing up, it was Cubans, Venezuelans, Haitians, and a little bit of Colombians, right? I'm Colombian. Now, man, people came in from everywhere after COVID. Holy smokes. Everywhere. So, you know, it's cool, though, to see, though, that a lot of the people have assimilated to, like, Cuban culture and a lot of the ways, like, I mean, you remember high school. It was drinking colada, empanadas. It still is, you know? So, I want that to remain because there is a charm to Miami that I haven't been able to find anywhere else in the world, and I've gone everywhere. I freaking love it here. I don't think I could ever go anywhere. But it does make me proud to see these big projects, and it does make me proud to see, like people that I went to school with or people that I've known be able to thrive off all of these things that are going on, right? Because for a lot of people, it's like a very difficult moment right now. But for people that have like hunkered down, studied, analyzed the situation, haven't over leveraged, focus on their work, spend less than they make, right? Those people have been able to capitalize on opportunities like you being one of those people. Like you've built a business which lets you like provide for yourself and your family, but you've also been able to build a community of people that trust you, which I think is a very big and important part of having a business. Is not just transacting, because you could transact and make money for yourself and like fuck people and be an asshole and like have a bad rep, or you could do good business and you could build a good community around it. And what you've done with the WhatsApp group and like all the people that you're coaching and teaching in there through your content is ultimately like, maybe those people are not ready, right? Maybe they're not that like buyer of the Waldorf Astoria like penthouse like Tony Robbins, but maybe that's the next one. And maybe through your education, they're able to get into a creative real estate deal in a couple of years.
Definitely.
And then you're kind of able to be that catalyst for them. So with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about your WhatsApp group. There's a fuck ton of people in there. How long have you been running that? I'm one of those people, but I've only been in there for like 6-8 months. Like how long has that been running?
So I started that WhatsApp group back in September of 2023. So just a little over 2 years now.
Okay.
And we probably have over 500 people in there.
It's a paid group right now, right?
Yeah, it's a paid group. And so we charge $50 one-time fee. And what that really does is just to scare away
The fools.
I mean,
The filter.
I mean, there's guys in our industry, unfortunately, that don't work ethically, and they try to work around deals to not get people paid. And so I don't agree with that. So that's why I charge that one-time fee. But a lot of the people that are in there, if you know somebody in that group, I'm gonna get you in there for free.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we've been doing. It's a community that I've built on WhatsApp that I can sell and share my deal flow to. And it's a community of all types of different real estate professionals, from investors, inspectors, realtors, lenders, got lawyers in there. And so from time to time again, in between all the deals that my team and I, submit to try to sell, and for us to do joint venture opportunities with other people in the community, a lot of people come in asking for resources, and most oftentimes there's somebody there that's willing to help.
I always see people asking and then people helping.
Yeah. No. So that's what
that's super necessary.
That's probably what I'm most proud of with that community, for sure.
I'm part of this marketing community. I'm part of a few. I don't want to say the name, so I don't put all their business out there, but they've thrived off creating community like that, doing quarterly events in person. There's also an AI component now where, for example, like all of your real estate knowledge, all of your podcasts, everything you've ever written, you could put into like a Telegram AI, or even I think some people are doing it on WhatsApp, and like when you're not available, they could ask the AI based off what it remembers that you've talked about, and then they could run it by you to make sure that it's good. And with time, it gets smarter. So essentially, you're like duplicating yourself within these communities. Then there's the whole filming videos like this aspect, creating like into a program. So there is a way for you to have like your real estate portfolio, your wholesale deals, and an education company all in one. You essentially already have that. It's just like in development, and there's people that are dying to know more or looking to get more hands-on help, and they're serious about what they're doing, and those people eventually become partners, they become clients, they become all types of stuff. So when I saw the way that you were marketing yourself, I really loved it, because like you said, like we've had these big real estate guys on the podcast and they've done great work, but dude, there's people doing incredible work in Miami right now and building communities. And for example, most people I know don't have a community. Like you have like 500-600 people in there, and like it's actually like finding a community or upkeeping a community of people that are constantly asking questions, helping each other out. That shit's hard. It's time consuming. It's expensive, and if it doesn't take time, it takes money. So when I see it, like your chat moving daily, I'm like, holy shit, Chris is onto some really, really dope shit here. Because it shows that people are paying attention and people care. And if one person thinks it, if one person says it, it means that at least 100 people think it. So I'm saying it right now. Props to that. Now, with that being said, I have a couple questions for you about this year. You moved a ton of volume this year. So I wanted to know what made this year stand out in sales. What changed, or what changed in your approach, or what changed in the market that caused you to have such a solid year?
Definitely the community helps, right?
Yeah.
And so I would say in my line of work, speed is probably one of the biggest things. And so I have to be the first to market deals, right? If not, somebody else is going to get them.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only guy out here that's moving off market deals and bringing buyers to the table on these off market deals. So speed is one thing. I have to be first to market. I answer everybody's texts like rapid fire. And so the communication has to be on point. That's just fundamental if you want to succeed. But I would say in my line of work, I built my business all on referrals. And so no paid advertising or anything like that. I built that community going to networking events. So I would go to networking events every couple weeks.
I see you host networking events often, right?
Yeah,
every couple months.
Yeah, because that's where I get the majority of my business. And so I host these events, or I go to these events, and I throw people in my chat. I throw people on my list. And so that is, and what I'm saying that because when you shake hands and you meet someone and you make that relationship face to face,
right? It's different.
It hits much better, especially in real estate where you're dealing with a lot of money.
Yeah.
You're dealing with assets. People want to take you seriously, and people don't just want to do a Zoom call or a phone call half the time.
Yeah.
You know,
they want to feel you out.
You know, they want to feel you out, definitely. And so that is the relationship aspect of this business is so key.
Yeah.
And so if the relationship is there, the money is there. And a good buddy of mine told me that if you got a solid relationship with your clients, you're always going to have business. And especially in my line of work where I sell repeat buyers, I have buyers that come to me solely to me because of the integrity, the honesty, and the work.
Yeah, they don't need the headache. They know that you do it right.
Correct. Yeah. And so that's the biggest thing. My biggest thing is working with repeat buyers. The majority of my business, like the 80-20 rule, 80% of the revenue comes from just 20% of, right, or the other way around. So that's the biggest thing. They're just having that solid relationship is what has really made me successful this year, and of course with speed.
I remember that I wanted to go to the last event you hosted. I don't know if it was in Hollywood. I think it was close. It was a couple months ago, and I wasn't able to make it, which bummed me out. But I remember like seeing the chat like after the event. It was just like a rapid fire of new people joining the chat. I'm like, oh, there you go, get that money.
Yeah.
Everybody, right? Because you're making money, they're learning, they're making money. It's good. It's a good community. Now, you're a dad. Work has been great this year. You've been really busy. How's that balance for you, being a dad and having all this work and upkeeping your community of people that look up to you, your buyers, being out there creating content, and you go to studios and you film and you're constantly updating your business and your personal brand. How's that been for you?
It's tough. It's a lot of responsibility, but it's nothing I didn't ask for. So I just take it with stride. Yeah. And it's a narrow path you got to walk, but when you got kids, I think you got kids too, right? And so you got to step up. There's really no option to fail.
It's not, and it feels different too. Like
feels different.
Like
I didn't start making money until I had kids.
Real talk.
Real talk.
Well, like you start making real money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't even think I'm making real money. I'm just getting started now.
Yeah.
And so, but really didn't see that momentum until after the kids, and that just keeps me going.
I like when you post like when you're at the office and your son is like playing and shit, because dude, believe it or not, like that shit makes an impact. Like like seeing your pops putting in work, you know what I'm saying? Like
I know,
because you could just be fucking playing Xbox or Madden or smoking pot in the living room like a lot of people do. They don't really care about the information and the things that their kids are seeing on a daily basis. Like
your kids see everything.
I mean, you probably saw it in your dad. You probably had to see him work his ass off and sacrifice a lot of shit, being a doctor. Your mom being in the title space. That bled onto you and probably lead on to your next generation. That stuff is super important. Like for me, the whole situation with kids, even if you're an uncle, an aunt, a cousin, like the youngins, like showing them like shit's possible and showing them the true value behind money, I think is invaluable, man. Super invaluable.
And I'm just motivated to inspire my kids, and I have 2 younger brothers too. So and my kids are boys. So imagine,
I got 2 boys.
Yeah. So I'm raising gentlemen, so it's motivating.
Raising gentlemen.
It's motivating and inspiring to bring up not only my brothers, but my boys, my kids as well. And so I look at it as a privilege. I'm grateful, and it's tough. You don't get much sleep. But goes back to that saying, you can't complain for what's on your plate when you ask for it.
When you ask for it.
You know?
How's your social life these days? Do you get much time to like go out and do shit, bro? I find myself like grinding all the time. Bro.
Yeah, I get to do this. I get to hang out with you. I'll meet my associates at properties, but that's about it. I mean, head is down, working. In my line of work, I'm behind a computer looking at my emails and looking at WhatsApp the whole day.
Well, yeah. What percent of your day would you say that like you're on the field versus like in the office?
I would say 90% behind the desk.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when I want to get some fresh air, I'll go show a property.
It drives me fucking crazy sometimes being behind the desk. Like, it's a blessing. Like, a lot of people would be like, I would kill to work from my desk. But it gets to a point where you'll go crazy inside the four walls, bro. Like, I take walks. I take walks multiple times a day because it's just like so many calls, so many people, so many things, so many papers that I'm just like, I need to touch fucking grass, dude. Like, I need to see the sky. I need to breathe.
That stuff is important. That's not to keep you sane. And so definitely. And so like today, I knew I was coming here. Yeah. And it just so happens there's a 10-unit property in Hollywood that we're showing. Yeah. And I have a client that wants to go see it. So you know what? I'm gonna go out there. Yeah. And it's a $2 million property. So I'll make some money if we sell it. So,
oh my God, yeah.
So God, when the deal's exciting or if it's nearby, I'll go. Yeah. Yeah. But very rare that I go out to a property because to be honest, it's a waste of time. You know, I go out to a property, I spend an hour or two showing a property when I probably could have sold a deal or two back in the office. Yeah. But sometimes it pays off. But, you know, that's what I like about this business, too. It's dynamic. It's not always.
Jump around from.
I can jump around, you know, even though it's not like your typical 9 to 5. It's like a 10 to 10 sometimes in the office. I can, you know. Oh, yeah. But if you can move around and be mobile, then, you know, you'll find a way to keep being inspired.
You know, the cool thing about your business, too, is that, like, you don't have to deal with tenants, really. Like, at least for the wholesale part, right? When you do buy the properties for yourself, you have to deal with like making sure the property is upkept for them and everything. But for the most part, when you're doing these deals, you're selling the property, you get your cut, and like that's it for you. Like
I'm not swinging any hammers. Yeah. And so what it looks like essentially is putting a property under contract. It's just paperwork, and I'm flipping paperwork. Yeah. So I go to you. I put your property under contract to buy it, and then I take that paperwork to another investor and mark it up a little bit and sign a contract with him. Yeah. And then I get paid at closing.
Beautiful. Now, walk me through one of your most creative deals that you've done for a client, a partner, that literally that you think top of mind. That was crazy, it was funny, it was sad, something that was just like completely left field that you're like, oh, this deal was crazy, man, but we got it done.
Man, I get a lot of those deals. It's always a situation. Like right now, this property, there's a property in West Park, not too far from Hollywood, that we just closed on. Oh, yeah. On Friday, well, we were supposed to, because the property was supposed to be delivered vacant, but it wasn't.
They left everything inside?
Because there were squatters inside, right? And so we were dealing with the brother who owned it. The daughter was living in there. The sister was living in there. She didn't want to leave. And so he cut the lights off, and we're like, oh, man, this is not good. So she ends up leaving, but when we go to see the property this weekend, there's a dog inside. They abandoned a dog.
They left the dog there.
They abandoned a dog. And so we had to call animal care, and the animal care came to pick up the dog. And so I bring that up because every day or every deal is so different, and I'll see something new every time. I'm always surprised in this business. So that was the situation. But a lot of my deals, we're saving a lot of people from foreclosure. Yeah. Especially with these sub-2 deals. Yeah. And so one that comes to mind is one in Fort Lauderdale that we sold recently, a wooden house, 100-year-old house. She tried selling it on the market, couldn't. Every wholesaler in town offered her cash, couldn't make it work because they didn't cover the debt. And so I came along and offered her, hey, I'll give you $5,000 and we'll assume the debt. And she had a mortgage rate on her loan for 3.5 interest. Nice. And so in the historic part of Fort Lauderdale, Sailboat Bend. So beautiful. So we sold it to an investor that, you know, put some money down, and now he's renting it out, and he's doing the Airbnb thing with that. So and I was particularly happy about that one because I was dealing with the seller directly. Yeah. And the text message she was saying is like, nobody else can save this house but you. And so she was able to move on from that property, you know, and she sold her business and went back to Europe.
You know what would be super cool one day, which it would probably be hard because people probably wouldn't want to talk about their situation. But if one day you can have a sit down like this with somebody that you helped get out of a fucked up situation, you got them some money, you saved their credit, and that like send that to people that like object. Like,
yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying? That shit would be wild, bro.
No, I got to do more of that. It's part of the reason why I don't like leaving the house, right? Because
Yeah.
we were talking about this right before the interview. The content is time consuming, right?
Fuck yeah,
doing
man.
recording,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And so
I hadn't recorded an episode in 5 weeks, bro.
in 5 weeks.
Yeah, because I've been head down Q4. I have a marketing agency that I like been running for 13 years, and it's my busiest time of the year. So it's really hard for me to juggle everything.
Yeah. No, so I appreciate the call. And
No, appreciate your time, dude. I've been wanting to do it for a while. I was just trying to find the right opportunity. You know, and we've also tried to get some shit going. But we're letting it marinate right now.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about foreclosures. I don't know if you keep up, or I'm sure you have to keep up, but where are we at in foreclosures last year versus this year? Are they up? Are they down? Like, is it stagnant? Is it choppy?
Oh no, it's up. It's up.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember back in 2020 when there was when people couldn't leave their houses. There was a forbearance. And if you don't know what a forbearance is, basically the mortgage company kind of pauses the foreclosure if you're behind on payments.
Yeah.
Right, for letting COVID blow over. So what that happened was it created a ripple effect where people weren't paying their mortgages and they thought we were in COVID, I didn't have to pay my mortgage. But in 2021, 2022, 2023, they started knocking on their doors and saying, hey, you owe money on the house. And so we didn't see any foreclosures or really a lot in the past couple of years. But now you look at the foreclosure auction site and the calendar's full. There's auction dates in Miami-Dade County and Broward every day. Every day.
That's good for you, right?
Yeah, no, it's good for me. It's great for a lot of investors out there that are looking for opportunities. And so a lot of the guys that I work with will go look at the auction schedule for a few weeks out or a month out, and they already list all the properties that are going to auction. So you can just reach out to those sellers and say, hey, you're going to auction in a couple weeks. Let's work something out.
Let's figure some shit out before you get there.
Exactly.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the WhatsApp group. Why'd you start that? Who gave you the idea? Where did you see it? Was it after an event? How did you conceive that?
Yeah, so I have a buddy and mentor of mine that has his own WhatsApp chat with probably double the amount of people.
Okay.
Right, in his chat, and he's been doing it pretty well. And so I noticed that there was a gap in the marketplace, or something. There was a need
for creative, and that's
something creative in that sort of space. I didn't see many creative deals being actively solicited, and I knew they were out there because I was dealing with a lot of the acquisition companies and wholesalers that were actively pursuing these deals. And what I noticed were they were having a hard time selling them. They were either getting them in weird markets or they were newer investors. Sub 2 is really like where a lot of new investors start because it's the barrier to entry is just very low.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need credit. You don't need finances. You don't need personal guarantee. You just need a little bit of cash and you can get into a deal fairly quickly.
Right.
Right? And so a lot of new guys were getting these types of deals but not knowing how to move them. And so I knew I could move them, and I saw what my buddy was doing with his community. And so I figured, hey, he's focusing a lot on cash deals. I think there's something for creative deals that we can do here. So that's what essentially inspired me to create my own group, kind of focusing on creative deals, but I also do cash deals as well. The majority of my deals, just because there's a lot more, are fix and flip opportunities. But I saw that there was a gap in the marketplace that needed something like this where we're going to sell more of these types of opportunities.
Right.
Where I didn't see it. So,
it's really important to have buddies, to have mentors. Like,
super important.
One of my buddies, him, we went to high school with him. Like, I got into real estate because I saw everything he was doing with real estate. And he was like talking me into it. Like, yo, you could do this, you could do that. And I was always like running my marketing agency and just
staying in your lane.
Staying in my lane. I'm like, I'm not going to try to be a fucking big shot real estate dude. But I mean, eventually you have to get some fucking real estate. Like, if you're going to do business, like in this country or I think anywhere, eventually you have to fucking buy some real estate.
Yeah.
Whether it's for you, whether it's for tax purposes, whatever the reason. And it's important. It's one of the reasons I started this podcast because, the reason this whole thing started is because I wanted to learn from people that I like what they have going on, whatever level they're at. Whether you're freaking Vivek Ramaswamy, whether you're Tony Robbins, whether you're like Andy Frisella, whoever, or, or whether you're like a local restaurant owner, like that I really look up to the way that they do business. Like, it's important to always be in learning mode, because
Definitely.
you don't know it all. And the second you feel like you know it all, you've lost the game, bro.
Definitely. I contribute my success to my mentors.
Yeah.
And so I didn't learn creative finance without a mentor.
Yeah.
I paid thousands of dollars to my mentor so he can teach me this stuff. And then I paid another mentor and another mentor. And so
So you took money out of your pocket, you invested in yourself.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like YouTube or let me go get a $20, $30 book.
No.
Like you put your money where your mouth is, and you sat with somebody and you asked them questions.
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you did that.
No, yeah.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, no. This year alone, I hired a new coach, and I've given him quite a bit of money.
For real estate or
real
for
estate.
business in general.
For real estate, focusing in my specific business, I probably paid over $30K into my coach just this year alone. And so super important. And your coach is going to take you to the next level. And what my first coach did was take me to that level where I first saw success.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed last year that there was kind of like a standstill or like a plateau. And I was like, I need a coach. And so earlier this year, hired my coach, and he helped me get that first property in Hialeah. And so
it was through your coach that opportunity
super instrumental. Well, yeah.
Wow. Super worth it. Holy shit. Like right away you got the money's worth.
Yeah, within a couple of weeks, yeah.
Holy smokes.
Literally within our second call, I had the information I need to go ahead and restructure the deal. And it was just kind of like looking at it through a different lens. That's what I feel mentors and coaches help people do, is they help you look through a different lens. Because most oftentimes you're blinded by what you can't see, and most oftentimes it's in front of you. And so he picked apart spots in my business, right? He noticed that there was different verticals that I could attack.
Yeah.
Like kind of how you mentioned before, how like the community can kind of venture off into education and different verticals.
Yeah.
Like one thing is referring hard money,
Yeah.
right? Like, so I not only can bring you the deal, but I can also help you fund the deal.
Yeah.
And get a referral
Yeah.
from the lender.
Of course.
All right. And so super, super critical. I think if you're not in the level you want to be, there's always a guy. There's always a guy in your space that's crushing it. And just having the humility to go out and hire them. It's tough.
It's tough to trust, to not get clowned. A bunch of things could happen. They could play you. They could take your shit. They could not. They could help you. Like anything could happen, but it's just like you just have to be willing to risk it. It's just risk tolerance.
A risk tolerance and faith too. And also you got to trust but verify too. I know he was
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. And I know he was doing good business, and I saw what he had done to the careers of some of my other peers. So I was like, all right, I need a coach. He's having a program. Let's do it. And it was recently where I had to make a second payment or an additional payment just a couple weeks ago, and I was thinking to myself, damn, do I want to pay these 10 racks?
Yeah.
You know, like, and so, but it's a mindset.
That's probably what my clients feel when they got to pay me.
And
then they realize that they stop paying me and their fucking revenue tanks to shit.
Yeah. And they realize they pay you, and then there's 6 figures in the account.
I've had it happen where they, like in the field of marketing, there will be a bunch of people that are like promise all types of shit. And with marketing, it's like you have to trust the marketer to do their job. And your situation is not the last person's situation that they told you they did it for. So it's just like a gamble in a sense, right? So for me, like I've had people try to like be like, oh, we're gonna try to find like a cheaper service or somebody that costs me less in marketing operations for profitability. And then 6-8 months later, they come back and then their sales are down 30%. So the money they saved, they lost. Or altogether, like we've had situations where like we've parted ways with companies that we've helped grow and they've gone out of business like in 6 or 8 months because that's also another thing, like not being... Some people get so comfortable once they reach a certain stride of growth that they forget the success. And I learned this from Grant Cardone. They forget the successful actions they've taken to get there.
Correct.
And they start chipping away. Like, oh, maybe I don't need this. Oh, maybe. And then you start removing the pillars. And then you just like get smacked right into a wall. And then you wonder what happened. But sometimes it's too late. Like it's happened to me. And it's also happened to my mentor where like he helped this brand go from like $500K a month to $1.5 million a month through meta ads, just running straight meta ads to their offer. They let him go, and then they dropped back down to like $300K. That's a big jump. And like, imagine how many people in the company like counted on having a job, how many families were fed from that entire organization. And then sometimes as a business owner, like, we have to be aware that there might be areas we could save, but for example, you thought about it, you're like, no, but I need this. Like, I'm gonna pay this fucking $10K, and I'm gonna keep it moving. Sometimes it's time to stop, but you have to be able to discern, and you have to be able to understand that, sometimes it's okay, if not most of the time. Like right there where you're sitting sat Aldo. He's the owner of Toro Loco Churrascaria. I don't know if you've ever been to. It's delicious steakhouse. They have a bunch here in South Florida, and he overpays his staff. Like overpays his staff. Like, you go to his place and everybody's fumbling over each other, like, to like fucking help you. And it's fucking magical, dude. And he like promotes from within, and that's how, like, you don't need a huge organization with a huge team. Sometimes it's just a lean operation with 3, 4, 5 killers, and that's all that you need to do good.
Gino Wickman, the author?
I don't.
Of the book Traction.
Okay.
So this guy is a guy who built like an operating system on how businesses should run. He says every business should have this core process, and he outlines it in this book called Traction. And in this book, he talks about kind of just that, about running a tight, lean business. It's not about having the biggest business. Right, I've seen a lot of interviews where people, I want to grow, I want to scale, but their profits get tighter and slimmer,
and are probably the same as somebody with like 1/10 of the amount of staff.
Correct. And so what he highlights in his book is that you don't want a big business, you want a healthy business, right? And so you want to be lean. You don't want to kill your profits when you're trying to grow, right? So My team is tight. My team is me and 3 other people. I have a social media guy, I have my email guy, and I have my WhatsApp guy.
Yeah.
And these are overseas guys, and just a small team of 4, we're able to do what we've accomplished and keep our margins healthy. And so it's not all about building a big business, but building a healthy business.
Yeah. I had this woman on the podcast. She has a book called Exit Rich, right? And the whole point of the book and her teachings and her offer is that you need to build your business not with the intention of selling it, but it needs to be built as if you would ever sell it. It would be desirable enough for somebody to buy it, and it's not a fucking mess. The right systems, the right SOPs, the right structure. Whether you're going to keep it or not, it's going to be beneficial for you to build it as if you're going to exit the business eventually. And that's the whole point of Exit Rich. Okay,
gotcha. And I think partly because of that is because you want a business to run without you as well. A business shouldn't run you. You shouldn't run the business. The business shouldn't run you. Like, the business should run by itself.
Yeah.
Right. And so there comes a point in time where I think every entrepreneur, every operator should grow the business, set up the systems, and step out of it. Right. And so to your point, to exit rich, that's in the horizon for my business as well down the road. But I agree with that.
Where can everybody connect with you on your socials, on whether it's your personal, your website, your WhatsApp group? I'm gonna voice it out, but I'm gonna link everything on the bio on the episode. That way they could connect with you.
No, for sure. On Instagram, I have 2 pages: my personal and my business page. So Pombo Real Estate is my personal. My last name Pombo Real Estate, and then Creative Real Estate Deals on IG.
Great name, by the way, available too.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to pick something with no
underscores, no
nothing
weird shit.
Keep it clean. So Creative Real Estate Deals on Instagram, and Pombo Real Estate, as you can find me on IG.
All right, y'all, you heard it. This is Alex Quinn, Christian Pombo on the Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast. If you like the episode, share it with a friend, a family member. If you want to see the show notes, go on hustleinspireshustle.com/podcast. Check it out. If you like the merch that I'm rocking, go to shop.hustleinspireshustle.com. And if you have any questions for Christian, you want to join the group, go ahead and hit him up on IG and hit him with any questions. See you on the next episode. And don't forget that you can support our podcast by visiting our shop at hustleinspireshustle.com/shop.